Hello, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Still playing Arena, still playing Historic, mostly because I'm enjoying the format quite a bit. Strixhaven shook it up and made it quite enjoyable. There are some questionable decks, but for the most part, the format is very, very fun. I will be playing a Selesnya CoCo deck, but before I get into the deck, I just want to thank the newest subscribers to the channel. Hit 75 people yesterday, on our way to the big old 100. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so if you like the content that I'm putting out. Also, leave a comment down below because I like hearing from everyone. Also, there are timestamps. If you want to skip over this, you can go right ahead into game one, and if you want to see the deck, it is in the description. So it is a collected company deck. We are playing 4 of them. Of course, it says look at the top 6 cards of your library, put up to 2 creature cards with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. This deck is playing a ton of 3 CMC creatures because our goal is really to get a collected company out and overwhelm the opponent with 5 or 6 value in mana suddenly, right? I'll talk about the 3 CMC creatures in a few minutes, but first, there are a couple other creatures that are very important to the deck. In the 1 CMC slot, I am playing 1 Gilded Goose and 4 Llanowar Elves. These cards are going to enable either turn 4 or turn 3 collected companies. Always want a turn 3 collected company if you can do it, or maybe a turn 2 Mammoth or Lovestruck Beast. Getting out a big beater on turn 2 can be quite advantageous in some matchups. Next, playing a couple of cards in the 2 slot, playing 4 of Luminarch Aspirant. This card, just a solid white card. It's going to put +1/+1 counters on our creatures, and we have a lot of really good evasive creatures, a lot of flying creatures, but they aren't very big, 2/3, 3/1, so they don't get in for a whole lot. If we can get 1 or 2 counters on them, it can be quite advantageous. Next, Scavenging Ooze. In the main board instead of in the sideboard. I think the reasoning behind this is mostly because there are so many graveyard strategies going on right now. Arclight Phoenix is running around. Rakdos Dreadhorde, of course, is going to be a thing forever. Jund Food, or whatever food deck people are playing right now, the sacrifice decks. And, of course, the Magnum Opus card, I guess is what it's called. The one where they flash back and the game just ends because they have infinite turns and all that nonsense. Well, Scavenging Ooze can be quite good in those matchups. Next, we have all these 3 CMC creatures. I've broken them down into 3 different categories. The simplest one is the Mammoth and the Lovestruck Beast. These are just some beaters, okay? Your deck's got to have some ground presence, and that's what these creatures are going to do. Next, we have 4 Skyclave Apparitions. This is a great removal card. It can remove any 4 CMC non-land, non-token permanent. Of course, if Skyclave disappears, your opponent is going to get a token, but I think the upside is so good, especially if you hit it on a collected company. And then Sigrid, God Favored, is a new addition to the deck. Recommendation from a friend over Ronus, which a lot of decks are playing Ronus, but we kind of agreed that Ronus is maybe not the best thing, mostly because our deck doesn't have a whole lot of 4-power creatures, natural 4-power creatures. The only one is Lovestruck Beast. Kazandu Mammoth can get to 4 power pretty easily with a landfall, but it's still conditional. Aspirant can make our creatures 4 power or higher, but again, there's a condition attached to it. So we decided on Sigrid. It was his strong recommendation. I haven't actually had an opportunity to play a Sigrid yet, so I'm hoping that during these games I'll be able to do that and prove him right. And then this category here is kind of our taxing category of 3 CMC creatures. We have 1 Redain in the main, 2 more in the sideboard. Redain, Flying Vigilance, very nice. 2/3 stat line, pretty decent. More importantly, the line of text there says non-creature spells your opponent's cast with mana value 4 or greater cost 2 more. This is going to hit your opponent's time walking spells like Time Warp and Alrund's Epiphany. It's also going to hit your opponent's removal like Wrath of God, and also things like Collected Company from your opponent. So really cool card. The Protector Shield side, also very good. It can protect our creatures, slightly. It makes it a little bit harder for the opponent to plan their mana properly, and it also prevents damage, which can be quite huge. Next, the Elite Spellbinder is the only card from Strixhaven to make it into the deck. This card is also a taxer. It says when it enters the battlefield, look at your target opponent's hand. You may exile a non-land card from it, and then that spell will be in exile and cost 2 more. So what that means is you can cast this out. Maybe you exile your opponent's Redain. Well, they got to pay 5 to cast that Redain. Or if your opponent has a Time Warp, it's going to cost 7 instead of 5. And then one of the coolest tax cards in the deck, I think, is the Archon of Emeria. It is a symmetrical effect, so it does affect us too, but our deck is designed kind of around it. It says each player can't cast more than one spell each turn. This really hoses a lot of decks like the Arc-like Phoenix decks that require a lot of spells to keep going off to get those Phoenixes back from the graveyard. It also hoses a lot of the decks playing Brainstorms. You know, they got to make the choice between doing something big or just, you know, playing a Brainstorm in passing turn. So it really interrupts your opponent's game plans and really doesn't really bother us much because we're either playing one creature a turn or holding up Collected Company. There are two more cards to mention. Great Henge. This card is just really great in the mid and late game if we get to that point. It is a little hard for our deck to cast out because a lot of our creatures are only 2 power. Really, Lovestruck Beast and Mammoth are the only ones that can really give us a significant discount. But still, in the mid and late game, if we get this onto the battlefield, since our deck is made up of so many creatures, we can really load out, keep putting out a whole bunch of creatures, load up the battlefield, and maybe take a win where we shouldn't have won. And then Emeria's Call. It's mostly a land. 99% of the time, it's going to be a land. Over in the sideboard, we have a couple of interesting cards. Giant Killer. Giant Killer, really important to kill things like Elder Gargaroth. That card is super annoying, especially since, you know, it's a 6/6 body. We can't really get rid of that. We can't kill it with Skyclave Apparition because it's 5 CMC. It has reach, so all of our evasive creatures have trouble getting around it. So having something like Giant Killer to deal with those big threats is just very important. 2 of Declaration in Stone. This card I'm not completely sold on, but it is an exile effect at sorcery speed for 2 CMC. Not bad. It does give the opponent a clue, but should be okay. Next, Rest in Peace for Graveyard Strategies. Shifting Ceratops to stop our blue opponents, of course. Thalia also to tax non-creature spells if your opponent is on a time-walking type deck. This can be very important to bring in. And then finally, Night of Autumn if we have to destroy any artifacts or enchantments, or maybe we just need to gain some life to stay alive in a more aggressive matchup. This card can be very important. So here's the deck. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty fun, mostly because of the randomness from Collected Company. Hopefully we see some interesting things in the gameplay. All right. Thanks for listening, and see you there. All right, so some Selesnya Collected Company. I guess the season just ended. We got a nice little reset there. So back down to gold. Got to climb our way back up. Oh, so this hand looks a little rough. It's, you know, we're not doing anything for the first 3 turns. Great Henge is probably going to be stranded in our hand, so I'm not sure if I want to keep this or not. It's not bad. It's so middle of the road for me. I think I have to mulligan it. Okay, so this is worse. But I think I do have to keep this. We do have 2 lands, you know, so it could be manageable. Let's throw away... I think it might be the Spellbinder that I get rid of. Alright, maybe I should have kept that first one. We'll see. I did not want to see a Great Henge. So, next turn we can lead on the Gilded Goose. Opponent is probably ramping into some nonsense, so could be in trouble. If we hit a land on our next draw, we actually have a turn 3 Collected Company. So, definitely the power of having a Mana Dork out. Opponent ramping away. Sure. Hit the land. So, yeah, let's just pass, and end step, we will toss out the Collected Company, hope to hit very well on it. I'm kind of feeling like the opponent is ramping up into an Ultimatum or an Ugin, and that's not good. Bolas' Citadel, interesting. Woe Strider, let's see how low they go on life. Storm. Okay. This is something I'm not familiar with, but pretty neat. So any life that they're going to lose from this Bolas Citadel is coming back to them with this Tendrils of Agony. I really wonder if I want to collect a company now, because if I hit an Archon of Emeria, it's going to stop them from putting out a lot of spells. Yeah, I'm gonna try. Maybe I should have done it earlier. We do hit an Archon, and we hit a Skyclave. So, What's more important? Taking out the Wolfstrider or putting out a Spellbinder? I'm kind of torn. I can kill the Wolfstrider or I can take a look at their hand. I think I want to take a look at their hand. Oh, okay. I think I'm going to eat the Grape Shot. So now the opponent is locked. They can't actually cast any more spells this turn. Pretty neat. All right. Well, definitely getting in for 5. I can only cast 1 spell this turn as well, so it's got to be a good one. I'm thinking I just put out a Skyclave. Yeah. It's pretty neat. They're playing Weather the Storm, one of my favorite cards from Pioneer. I don't know if I can click on it. There it is. Gain 3 life, and then it storms. So the opponent's in kind of stuck right now. They're definitely going to be able to gain 3 life at some point, but you know, we're representing 7 damage. They're already at 11 health. They just put out this. Okay. Getting in for 2. That's fine. I think they tapped their mana a little strangely there because it used the Guardian Idol. He could have kept 1 Guardian Idol up for a blocker. Okay, down to 4. So I could cast a spell, and then they cast Weather the Storm. They're going to gain 6 life. If I don't cast a spell, next turn they'll go up to 7. Potentially. Waste their turn. Yeah, I think I don't want to cast a spell. Wow, they're going to take 3 damage. That might actually cost them the game. Really cool deck. I have not seen a deck like this yet. Maybe I have run into it. I just haven't seen it used in this capacity. If they do manage to kill the Archon of Emeria, they can start going. But being at 1 life, I think, a little bit of a tricky position for them. I don't think these idols have reach or anything, do they? No. So the opponent's going out on their terms. Cool. All right. Let's see. What do we want to bring in against our opponent? Probably Knight of Autumn, because I got to get rid of that Bolas Citadel if I can. I imagine Thalia is going to be quite good, because I doubt that they're playing any creatures. They're probably playing just the Storm cards as the win condition. Yeah. I don't think Scavenging Ooze is very important in the match. I also don't think Sigrid is very important, because it's mostly used against attacking or blocking creatures. I kind of feel like Redain. We definitely want more Redains because, you know, it's going to stop Bolas' Citadel from coming in. I don't know if I want all. Yeah, I probably want all. I got to imagine they're going to be bringing in some kind of sweepers for the deck. Probably, I don't know, what do they play? Languish or, I don't know, something like that. Got to make 3 cuts, though. I think I'm going to take out 1 Henge, 1 Luminarch Aspirant, and 1 Beast. Try it like that. It's a pretty interesting first game. And this is what I meant in the warm-up, talking about Historic kind of being in a really good spot right now. The Mystical Archive cards really, you know, injected a ton of power into the format, and, you know, allowed for decks like this. No white mana can't keep it with a, you know, all uncastable. Okay, this is fine. So I think we'll do this, and we'll try to get a turn 4 Collected Company. Yeah, some people are a little annoyed with some things. I'm annoyed with some of the Mystical Archive cards, but I think Storm is one of the cooler ones that they put in. I'm gonna not play out the Mammoth right now. I'm just gonna, go out with the Forest. If I don't draw a land here, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do the Mammoth. So next turn will be Emiria, and then CoCo. Wow, Magma Jet for the Scry, I love it. Okay, Chromatic Lantern for the opponent. We find our land after all, but that's okay. Still, Archon of Emiria. Really limiting the opponent and what they can do. If they don't have any kind of removal for this, just puts it in an awkward spot. And the 3 toughness on the Archon is super important. Okay. So we play that, we get in for 2, and just hold up the Collected Company. Get a Scry from the opponent, as expected. Let's see what they do with it. Put it on the bottom, that's a good sign for us. Mountain. Wonder if he has a wipe. Grim Tutor. Okay. If they go and get, some kind of removal, it's going to happen. Probably, it might be a Bolas Citadel, actually. I have no idea. Oh, it doesn't reveal it. Okay. Collected Company. We find our second Archon. So, if the opponent put in... I really wonder if the opponent put some kind of removal, board wipe in. So I'm going to Spellbinder. Shadow's Verdict. Okay. Bye-bye, Shadow's Verdict. They can still potentially cast it next turn if they draw a land. So, currently it costs 7. They have access to 6. I could play out Redain, which would add another 2 tax to it. I think that's what I want to do. So, even if they... look at it, 9 to cast it out. It's pretty fun. Nice. All right. Off to a good start. Let's go to the next one. Oh, it ranked me up. Wow. Look at that. All right. Some more CoCo. Last game was pretty fun. Got to see some of that annoying taxation come into play. All right, we're going to keep this hand, go turn 1 Llanowar Elf, and hopefully find the 3rd land so we can go turn 3 Collected Company. Getting very lucky with the Collected Companies finding their way to the top of my deck. There it is. So I'm going to put that out. I'm going to just put it on the Luminarch. I don't want the opponent killing my Llanowar Elf. I want the incentive to be on killing the Aspirant. Now I don't care. I'm going to spread the love. See what they do. I feel like they have, what is it called? Fiery, whatever, the one that does Fiery Prophecy. I think that's what it is. 3 damage. Okay, what's this? Creative Outburst. Discard a card. Okay, so is this going to be that Torrential Gearhulk type deck? Augur of Bolas. Cool. Yeah, okay, that card's in the format. Alrund's Epiphany, sure. They're not having any of it. Thing to note there, I put a +1/+1 counter on the Elf and on the Luminarch. The one downside of Lovestruck Beast, of course, is you need a 1/1 to be able to attack with him. If you cast it off of a Collected Company, of course, you're going to be casting the Lovestruck Beast side of it, and you can't cast Heart's Desire. I didn't have any 1/1s, so I couldn't actually attack with them. So something to consider moving forward. The only 1/1s that we have in the deck are the Llanowar Elves, the Luminarch, and the human token that is created by the Lovestruck Beast. All right, so the opponent is on some kind of Time Warp nonsense deck. Redain can come in. Thalia can come in. I don't know if I want the giant killer. Probably not. Okay. I kind of want to keep the Scavenging Ooze in because I think they might be messing around with the graveyard. That's my suspicion. I might just trim here and there. I don't necessarily think my Skyclaves are going to have too many targets, but I want to leave in at least a few. No, you know what? Maybe I should even cut more Skyclaves. I really don't know. Like hitting an Augur Bolas. Yeah. And I kind of want one or two Shifting Ceratops, just in case. Okay. Shifting Ceratops, unfortunately, doesn't jive with Collected Company, but, you know, it's still a really, really amazing card against somebody that's playing blue. Hand looks good. Okay, lead on the Temple Garden. Next turn we'll go out with Thalia, hopefully slow down the opponent's game plan, and then the Spellbinder is going to give us a peek into their deck and can see what they're up to. Charter Course. Yeah. Okay, Thalia away. Drawing the second Redain is not bad. I think she's very important in this matchup, so it's very likely that it will get killed quickly. Another Creative Outburst. Okay. Let's see what we're dealing with. So, Time Warp, Magma Opus. I think I said Magnum Opus. Magma Opus. Nice. So, I could get rid of the Time Warp. I could get rid of the Augur. I think it's probably fine just to get rid of the Time Warp. If he plays out the Augur, I can Skyclave it. No big deal. Opponent finds a Mizzix Mastery. No targets in the graveyard that I have to worry about just yet. I think I want to throw out the Redain. I could Skyclave, but I prefer having the Redain on the battlefield to tax something like Mizzix. Okay. So the opponent's just spinning their wheels. Charter Course, trying to get something in the graveyard of relevance. So far they haven't hit anything. Is this important? Deals 5 damage to any target. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Pretty good. Okay. Yeah, let's keep going with our plan. That's got to be tilting for the opponent. So Mizzix Mastery costs 9, and their Time Warp costs 10. All right. We get blown out by some kind of, you know, if this is a board wipe, it could happen. Chandra's good. What does Chandra kill? Okay. Okay, so can do Redain and Archon of Emeria. Sure. I'll mention something in a second. We'll do damage. I think I want to get rid of Chandra. One very important thing there is order with Archon of Emeria is very important. There I had 6 mana to cast out the 2 spells, but if I had cast the Archon of Emeria first, it would have locked me out from casting Redain. I have done that in my early testing of the deck, just something that you should be aware of. Always cast your non-Archon spell before that. Another very convincing win. I don't think the opponent was kind of on the back burner the whole time. It just really worked out for us. We didn't hit any Collected Companies, but, you know, the Taxman comes in and ruins our opponent's day. Awesome. Let's go see another one. All right, third match with Selesnya CoCo. so far, things have been working out very well. That can only last for so long. We'll see. All right. Well, it's not the worst hand. We can play out the Kazandu Mammoth and then turn 2 Pathway into the Gilded Goose. The problem is we're not going to have a lot of white mana, and we could, it's only a one-time use on the Goose unless we make more mana. It's not great. Kind of think I'm just going to throw it away. Yeah. Yeah, okay. No, this is fine. We can keep this. So we have our 4 mana for Collected Company. I think I will put away the Spellbinder. I think the Lovestruck Beast is probably a little bit more powerful. The opponent is on a Lurrus deck. Yeah. So my thinking here is that they might be on Auras, something quite aggressive, so I want the Lovestruck Beast. Okay. Since I drew the land there, I don't need to play out the Mammoth as a land, so it's a pretty big upside. Okay, opt for the opponent. What could the opponent be on? Opt with Lurrus. This is new ground for me. Okay. Finding more land. Not where I want to be. I don't have a turn 2 play, so I may as well just put out the Temple Garden. Attack for 1, and pass it back to the opponent and try to get a little bit more information into what they're up to. Not information that's helping me figure out what they're up to. Oh my god, deck. I cut it out with the lands. So I'm going to get in. I don't know if I play the Mammoth or the Lovestruck Beast. Yeah, Lovestruck Beast. Sure. Okay. With Historic being as mixed up as it is since Strixhaven came out, it's really hard to get a grasp on just what your opponents are up to most of the time. Sure. So they put Lurrus in their hand. Fatal Push my Beast. Not a big deal. Just play out of planes. We've drawn a lot of lands, and I don't particularly care for that. Do I... I kind of want to play the Collected Company, like happened in the last game. If I hit an Archon, I can kind of stop what they're doing. But at the same time, what could they really be getting here that's a big deal? Okay. Hopefully it's not a counterspell. I should have considered that. Yeah. Well, we got that back. This Archon of a... I really wonder if they got the counterspell with that. I wasn't watching. Yeah, something to keep in mind. If your opponent's getting a Grim... or using, Grim Tutor, and you're very, very obviously representing Collected Company. Yeah. Oh, I think I know what this deck is now. Yeah, Tainted Pact. Is there any way for me to stop this? I don't think there is. I don't know what happens here. This is the Tainted Pact combo. I've seen it a little bit. I think I still lose here. I don't know. But they're going to go through their library. They're only playing what-ofs of all these cards. The only double up is Tainted Pact. This is like the nonsense that I was talking about that the Mystical Archives have enabled. There are a lot of cool things that Tainted Pact or that Mystical Archives enabled. A lot of funky stuff, and this is, I think this falls into my category of funky stuff. The opponent is timing out. I don't know what happened here. So maybe if they time out, this Tainted Pact resolves faster. One problem I did read on somewhere, that Tainted Pact it doesn't work quite well on Arena, and there's a lot of slowdown. So I'm definitely going to try to speed this up or cut out parts. Okay, I do lose. Yeah. So even though it was 0, they had 0 cards in their library, so we lose. That is fun. That is fun. Okay, so Thalia comes in. Maybe it's just Thalia. Maybe Redain as a one-of. Get rid of that. Get rid of 1 or 2 of those. And that's probably about it. This is my first time facing this Tainted Pact deck. I have a very weak grasp on the inner workings of this deck. So okay, let's see if we can beat this big baddie. Get to play first. Opening hand looks good. Yeah, keep it. There is a streamer that I watch quite a bit on Twitch, and he is on this deck. And I know at the end of last season, it took him quite high up in Mythic. I got to imagine that this is a type of deck that's going to eventually catch on, and more people are going to be abusing it. That is a scary hand. I think I have to take the Thoughtseize, though, because I'd rather have the Thalia in hand. Make him, tax him a little bit on this stuff. The deck is very neatly designed. There is only, even the lands are only one of each. So even there's like one forest or one island, one swamp, one snow-covered swamp, one snow-covered island, and so forth. So we get to attack. I am going to play Thalia, so I have to do Heart's Desire first. And then Thalia. I'm not sure what kind of deck would prey on a deck like this. Mostly because I kind of understand the primary strategy that it's trying to carry out, but I don't know what its alternative paths to victory are. I imagine a Heartless Act is coming out on the Thalia now. On the Spellbinder. Interesting. So the opponent could play out the Thoughtseize next turn. I kind of want to get my Scavenging Ooze onto the field and growing before they can take it. Lovestruck Beast would have been a great play there as well. I'm not sure which one I'd lean towards. I'm really surprised they didn't take out the Thalia. Okay. Two to the bottom. Okay. Let's eat something from our graveyard. Bye-bye, Llanowar Elf. And yeah, get in. I'm a little worried about a sweeper here. But I think I have to hope they didn't find it. Yeah. Lovestruck Beast is going to be mostly useless after a sweeper anyways, whether I cast it now or whether I cast it later, simply because I won't have a human, more than likely. Them doing the opt is really good because now they're stuck on at least 3 mana, which is taxed. I don't think they have it. Alright, so just got to rush them down before they can get to the combo, it kind of looks like, with slight interruptions. I don't think there are any changes I want to make to the deck. Yeah. Alright, so game 3. Opponent is going to be on the play, so a little scary. If I can land an Archon of Emeria, that'll be very important. Yeah, I think I got to keep this hand. Can lead out on the Mammoth, I think. Great Henge is going to be really hard to cast now that the Mammoth is under this land. Thought Erasure for the opponent. Oh, you should take the Great Henge, opponent. Please take the Great Henge. Gotta imagine it's an Elite Spellbinder. But I want him to take... Yeah, alright. Well, there's a land. I don't want to reveal that I drew that. So play out the Luminarch, grow it a little bit, and I don't know. Okay, opt, not bad. One on the top, not a big fan of that. I kind of feel like the opponent is representing a Heartless Act. I'm going to play this just to hide information about my planes in Sunpaddle Grove, simply because I think my life total is irrelevant this game. I would like to get the Elite Spellbinder onto the battlefield and put a +1/+1 counter onto it. Alright. Well, that doesn't work. I was going to say if I put a +1/+1 counter onto the Elite Spellbinder, it gives some protection for Heartless Act. Okay. Archon of Emeria is not bad. I don't know what I want to do. Bait something here? Okay. And hopefully the Archon resolves. It does. So let's see if they continue drawing removal. They already went through a little bit. Opponent gets a scry with the temple to the bottom. Nothing. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. I can only cast one thing this turn, as long as the Archon's alive. They're going to kill it. Okay. So, going to put out the Mammoth, but I'm not going to play out the Plains. Oh, don't have another thing. Aether Gust. I think I want it. Now the question is, so my plan originally was to play out the Mammoth, hold back the Plains. Next turn I can play out the Plains and hopefully get out a Great Henge for 4. Now I'm going to be drawing the Mammoth. That puts me another turn behind. I could just play out the Luminarch and start growing the Luminarch. Hope to draw another land. I think probably I need to add pressure to the board. A little unfortunate that this all happened in the second main. Opponent putting Lurrus into hand, but they don't have any permanents to bring back. Okay. I'm going to pump up the Mammoth. Just because I can get the Great Henge down next turn with or without a land now. Oh, so very, very lucky pumping up the Mammoth. Okay, so we get the Great Henge and we have a creature to cast out from it. Is huge. Yeah. Okay, crash in. This Great Henge might be what we need to get there. Wishclaw Talisman is nasty because that enables their combo, I think. Really need an Archon. It'll slow them down. Okay. Not good. Okay. So I think it's this turn for the opponent, or not. Oh, man. So Wishclaw Talisman's really good. Search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then I get it. They have 5 mana open. If they have one of the 2 pieces in hand, they get there. This is sad to lose like this. Like, to have a game kind of boil down to, yeah, kind of yuck. Anyways, I'm not going to make the opponent go through this because we lose. GG's. Very disappointing. What can you do? Let's play one more. All right, so fourth match, rather. Excuse me. Last match was against that Tainted Pact thing, and yeah, that's a problem. Mostly because it's just not fun, but that's an issue for another day. Hand looks good. We'll keep the Mammoth and put him out first, and then go with a couple lands. We have turn 2 Scavenging Ooze into, well, we'll see on turn 3. We have options on turn 3. I don't need to take any damage, so just play that out first. Actually, that was a mistake. That was definitely a mistake. I should have played out the Temple Garden, just in case I needed to play out the Skyclave Apparition on the following turn. Our opponent is playing In Search of Greatness. And that. Okay, I am officially unsure about what's going on. I think Archon of Emeria is probably going to be pretty good in this situation. Okay. Wow, this is really cool. Let's take a peek into the opponent's hand, because I really don't like what's going on here. Another deck that I'm very unfamiliar with. Ooh. Okay. So I'm going to have to be very aware of the Extinction event. I think I probably want to just take the Infinite Rage so they can't keep putting out cards. And then next turn I can probably Spellbinder the Extinction event. I got to imagine they're going to make a land here. Make a land. What I mean is make a forest so they have a land on the next turn with the Gilded Goose. It made sense in my head. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's annoying. So I'm not worried about Extinction event on the next turn because they missed their land drop. The most they can have next turn is 3 mana. So let's set up for a win next turn. They gain a lot of life from this. So I kind of want to take the Sanctum. Oh no, they're going to add a lot of mana here. So they're going to get 3 mana, gain 3 life, whatever. So do I eat the Sanctum? This Sanctum? If I eat this Sanctum, it shuts off both of those. I think that's what I gotta do. So by taking this, it's a 3 CMC spell. They can't put out the 2/4 CMC enchantments that they have because of In Search of Greatness. Unfortunately, they gain life, which puts me in a spot. So now, I think we're certainly attacking in. I don't think they can block. They can't block here. They need the Gilded Goose for a mana source. And then I think I do this. I take the Extinction event. I'm not taking it. I'm taxing it, I should say. We got 3 CMC, 3, 3, 3, and 2. Okay. Let's see, opponent. Another weird deck. I'm not used to shrines What's with people playing strange things Friday evening? Okay, they have 4 mana. They can cast out either of those shrines, but it doesn't help them. Cool. So, Thalia, 100% coming in. Knight of Autumn, 100% coming in. I think those are the 2 main ones. Sigrid, I feel real bad about Sigrid, but not running into creature strategies today. I also don't think that's going to be important. What's with the... You see that effect going on there? That's weird. Is it on that one too? Okay. I think I'm going to take one Great Henge. I'm kind of thinking I might actually... I'm blown away by this, like, shininess. Redain might come in at another one of. Actually, you know what? I think I want the full 3 of Redain. Now that I'm considering it. And then... maybe one Lovestruck Beast can go out and one Mammoth? No, one Luminarch. Okay, let's see. Lots of things stopping what they're doing. Very cool. In Search of Greatness is one of those cards when it was released in Kaldheim that I thought was quite interesting. I definitely want to try it out in EDH, but it's cool to see it here. I haven't tried it out in EDH yet myself, but I think there's a lot of potential there. All right, hand is looking okay. No collected companies. A little sad. We've gone a few games without having a collected company, and I'm certainly missing them. And In Search of Greatness here would be fantastic. Okay. Smiling ear to ear. Boop. Do have to be aware that they are playing Extinction Event. Could get very nasty, especially since the majority of our cards are 3 and 1 CMC. We hit that very beautiful curve. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack, and I could eat this. It's going to deal 1 damage to something. Actually, I got to eat it, right? I was thinking about putting out the Thalia, but that Infinite Rage is really troublesome. No, I can put this out like this. Bye-bye. Yeah. Because I haven't played against these Shrine decks very often, I have a really hard time evaluating the strength of them. They are at 4 mana, so Extinction Event is possible. Nope, they're going to ramp. Okay. We'll do that. I think I'm going to play out Thalia. I should have played out... it doesn't matter. But, yeah, I think I'll put out Heart's Desire. Full cost. I pay all my taxes. So this could get scary, because they're possibly up to 6 mana for this turn. Of course, Thalia is taxing a little bit, but... Massacre Girl. Oh, it is a massacre. Okay. Alright. Poor token got destroyed. Okay, so that was unexpected. Very, very cool to have in the deck, though. Really, really need a CoCo now. This is going to get out of control really fast. Okay. Yeah, okay. I didn't think they had 6 mana. This ability costs 1 less for each shrine. Okay, so it's not 6, it's 3. Pretty wild. And this created 3 mana, so they were able to cycle for free. In Search of Greatness. Okay. That's a clock. That's a scary clock. Aspirant. Okay, Aspirant's... Okay, well, see, here's the problem. This is going to drain me for 3, so I'm at effectively 2. I need to block. No, I think I'm just dead here. So they block, they do that, and then I can't attack. Next turn they can tap down the Archon again. I'm forced to put the Aspirant and the Llanowar Elf in front of the Massacre Girl. I'm going to take 3 damage here, and then another 3 damage on their upkeep. Really cool. I say that. I'm not happy about this, but it is neat to see. Oh, okay. I actually just die here because they can cast that. They should be able to tap down the Luminarch, and then I can't. All right. It doesn't matter. They could have tapped one, so I couldn't block it all, and they ended the game there. Let's see. It could be big hits. That is, they're all big. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Well, that we're gonna go down swinging. I'm not giving up. I got a double block potentially here. I wonder if this is this looks like a very budget friendly deck as well. Massacre Worm being rare, but you don't need to play her, and you don't need to play the In Search of Greatness. Okay, double block. Oh, okay. We're not dead yet. I'm trying. I don't know why I'm trying. 2 life. We're gonna be at 1 life after this turn, and they're at 20, and they're just gonna keep gaining more life. They liked that one. That's not a good sign. We're gonna lose. I think this is the first time I've seen Binding of the Old Gods 3rd saga or 3rd page, whatever it's called, actually become somewhat relevant. But at least we will be on the play for game 3. We know what they're doing. We have a pretty good strategy against them. Okay. I like how this one went. Let's try again. Let's try. We'll get him. We'll get him. Am I scared of the Massacre Girl? I don't think I can't. I don't think I can bring it in. Maybe as a one of. Let's try it. Maybe it'll come in handy. Okay. We found the card we want to find. The last collected company we cast out there was fantastic. Hitting double Skyclave. Oh my god. Okay, opponent mulliganing a little bit. We play out a Llanowar Elf. Turn 2, Mammoth. Turn 3, Collected Company is the plan. Does the Elder Spellbinder change things? Yes, it does. Which one do I hate more? I think it's this one. This one's pretty... They're all nasty, man. I wish I could eat them all. I think it has to be Infinite Rage. Okay. Stone Fangs is out. We'll play that. Attack with the Spellbinder, and we're going to take a little bit from this. That's fine. But Collected Company, end of turn. Hopefully we hit something that can take care of it. We do have 6 cards in the deck that destroy Sanctums. There's one. These are good. Both of these are good hits. I think it's this one. I don't care about the 1 damage. Wow, he drew another one. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Okay. Just going to put it on the field and basically represent lethal. If that card there is something of merit, then they get us. If not, we take it. That's all it comes down to. Oh, it feels good. All right. Selesnya CoCo is just so fun. Let's go to a wrap-up. So, Selesnya CoCo, it worked pretty well, and it was super fun to play. I absolutely love this deck. I wish I were playing more CoCo decks these days. I really should be playing more because I think the card is just fantastic. A lot of cards showed how great they were. Skyclave Apparitions were coming hot off of Collected Companies. They were fantastic constantly. Elite Spellbinder coming in quite a bit to just, slow down the opponent by 1 or 2 turns and really threw a lot of them off, especially when it came to those guys that were throwing down the Sanctums or trying to do time warp stuff. Just such a good disruptive card from Strixhaven. Absolutely gonna be an all-star going forward, I think, in Historic. Archon of Emeria slowed down the opponent here and there. So yeah, everything's felt really good in the deck. I really think having the Gilded Goose as the 5th mana dork is really good. I don't know if I want to go up to 6. I think that's too much. One of the worst feelings is throwing out a Collected Company and hitting, your mana dorks on the Collected Company. But you look at the makeup of the deck, we're playing 33 creatures, 22 of them are 3 CMC creatures. So for the most part, you're going to be hitting well with Collected Company. We hit very well with all of ours. And overall, very happy. The only card, unfortunately, Sigrid didn't get her time to shine, but that's not her fault. That is certainly the situation that we were in. We just really didn't play against many creature-based decks. A lot of combo out there, a lot of people doing strange things, let's just say that. So anyways, I think this deck is a very good one to try out. It is a lot more expensive than the mono red budget deck that I put out in my last video, but this one, it does have a ton of rare cards in it, like a lot of rare cards. But the thing is, the rare cards are all amazingly high quality rare cards. You look at all of these in this pile right here, that is a ton of rare cards, unfortunately, but all of these cards are seeing play in other decks or can be used to create other decks. The value or the quality of these cards is incredibly high. And I mean, Scavenge News, Mammoth, they're also very good cards. I just didn't put them over. Everything in this deck feels great. Anyways, let me know what you thought about it. Have you tried this deck out? Do you have any variants on this? I would love to hear them. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, and see you in the next one.